Welcome back. In this video we're working on our grouping symbols part 2. Working with grouping symbols to simplify a problem. So this is the problem that we want to simplify. The square root of the absolute value of negative 4 times the fraction 4 times 5 times 3 minus 2 to the fourth plus 10 all over 5 times the quantity 10 minus 3. Now when you first see this problem, you're looking at it going, wow, this is too hard, I can't do it. There's too many steps, too much to do. It's not solvable, I can't do it, it's impossible. I want to have you watch a short little film clip from the movie What About Bob? Now I notice there's an issue in the initial setup. This 10 should have been a 15. Somehow the problem was not copied down correctly.
Baby steps?
It means setting small, reasonable goals for yourself, one day at a time. One tiny step at a time.
Baby steps.
For instance, when you leave this office, don't think about everything you have to do in order to get out of the building. Just think of what you must do to get out of this room. And when you get to the hall, deal with that hall, and so forth. You see?
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Oh, boy.
Baby steps.
So let's apply the principle of baby steps to our problem. Now remember, we are working with either PEMDAS or GEMS. Either way, the first thing that we have to do is we have to look at our groupings or our parentheses. Now, if you remember from the last video, the radical sign, the absolute sign, and parentheses are all part of the grouping symbols. So we have to try to find the innermost grouping symbol. Now, let's not forget, the fraction bar also is a grouping symbol. So what we're going to go is we're going to go to the innermost parentheses. We have our innermost parentheses here. And we also have parentheses right there. So, before we go any further, let's simplify those parentheses down. As was noted in the first problem, that 10 should have been a 15. So let's take a look at this problem. So, as we work through it, we're still going to rewrite the problem. So we have the square root, the absolute value of negative 4 times 4 times 5. But we're going to simplify the parentheses. This happens to now be 1 to the fourth plus 10 all over 5 times 12. Now we look at this and say, okay, we still have parentheses, we still have grouping symbols, we have the 5 times 12 here, and we have the numerator that we have to simplify. Within the simplification of the numerator, we notice that we have 4 times 5 times, or 4 times the quantity, 5 times 1 to the fourth plus 10. So we have an exponent. So as we take care of the numerator, we're going to be looking at the absolute value of negative 4 times 4 times 1 to the fourth is 1, and 1 times 5 is 5. So we're going to have 5 plus 10 all over 60. Now that we have that, we're going to simplify we took care of our exponents after we did our parentheses. We have simplified the grouping. We still have more order of operations that we have to take care of on the top, because now we're back up to the beginning where we have parentheses. So we're going to have to take care of those parentheses first. So we're going to we're going to move the problem up to the top and rewrite it. So we have square root of the absolute value of negative 4 times 4 times 15, because I added the 10 plus 5, divided by 60. So now I have to take care of the top, the numerator, because I still have order of operations there. So I have the square root of the absolute value of negative 4 times 60 over 60. Now we can take care of our multiplication or our division. I'm going to take care of the stacked fraction first because it's a fraction and it still behaves like the grouping symbol. So now I have the square root of the absolute value of negative 4 times 1. I have absolute value that behaves as a grouping symbol as well, so I'm going to take care of that multiplication inside the absolute value sign, which is going to be the square root of the absolute value of negative 4. The absolute value of negative 4 is looking at how far is negative 4 away from 0. The distance negative 4 is from 0 is 4. So we're looking at the absolute, or the square root of 4, which is just 2. So taking a fairly complicated problem where we want to do the square root of the absolute value of negative 4 times the quantity, 4 times the quantity, 5 times the quantity, 3 minus 2 to the 4th, plus 10, all over 5 times the quantity, 15 minus 3, simplifies down to just 2 using order of operations. Order of operations helps us take those baby steps, break it down into smaller parts, focus on each individual part.
All I have to do is take one little step at a time, and I can do anything. Baby step around the office. Baby step around the office.
So there you have it. Using order of operations, breaking it down to baby steps, you can accomplish anything as long as you understand the operations being asked of you. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.